Hi all, Ken here again, and this time with a review of Dungeon Defenders for the PS3. Now you may have noticed on the PlayStation crowd we already have a text review of this, but this is a video review to go alongside it. Now, it's a bit difficult to work out how to classify Dungeon Defenders. It's not your average game. If you were to take some tower defense games like Vector TD, Field Runners, Pixel Junk Monsters, and then mix it with the graphical stylings of Overlord 2, only make a better game, what you're left with is Dungeon Defenders. Now I'll be honest, I'm not normally a huge fan of the tower defense genre. However, that being said, Dungeon Defenders does enough things different to make it an enjoyable game and well worth playing. It's a very strange sort of tower defense game in that it allows you to wade in personally at any moment, and it allows up to 4 players local co-op, and it also allows for online play. Let's just have a look here. Now there's 4 classes available in Dungeon Defenders. They are the Apprentice, the Monk, the Huntress and the Squire. Now a couple of these characters don't work too well for single player, specifically the Huntress and the Monk, as most of their stuff seems to be geared towards multiplayer. Now here we have some actual footage. This is from the online co-op, and in this particular case what we're actually doing is one of the challenges, which is it doesn't allow you to build any towers. So the idea is you have to just wade in and defeat wave after wave of enemy. As you can see, I'm not playing very well here, but this adds more challenge to the game. It adds more life to the game. You're not sort of constantly just sitting there putting towers down, watching, putting more towers down, watching, repairing the occasional tower. It gives you something to strive for. And this really is where Dungeon Defenders comes into its own. With any of the other previously mentioned tower defense games, it is a case of you put the tower down, you wait for the wave to end, you put down another tower, you occasionally repair, that sort of thing. That personal touch where you can go in and try and solve problems yourself, granted those problems are solved with, a bloody great big stick or a sword, it really fleshes the game out and makes for a more enjoyable experience. Now, as already mentioned, there is split screen co-op in this game. You can choose which way you have the screen split. If you're playing only 2 players, you can have horizontal or vertical. But this is one of my only niggles with the game, and that's that when you use the split screen mode, it's almost like they assume that you already know what you're doing. The UI doesn't actually scale with the split screen, so a lot of the time you'll find that text or part of the image of the tower that you want to build is off screen. And that's fine for people that have already played it and know what they're doing, but for new players, especially if they just jump straight into that couch co-op, it can be a little bit off-putting. Now here you can see exactly what I mean. You can't read fully what's on that radial menu, but that is my only complaint for the game. Now another feature that I do like is this sort of hub world. Rather than going straight into the game and playing through level after level, you can go back to the tavern where you buy your items, you can buy pets, armour, weapons, that sort of thing. But also while you're here you can build your towers and see how they work. Now there's training dummies dotted around in the tavern, so you can see how much damage those towers will do, or you can also just see how much damage you do, and it gives you a DPS score for each item. This can come in really handy when trying to work out what strategies to use with which levels. And that's really all I can say about Dungeon Defenders. It's a great game, it's well worth your time, it's well worth your money. The only issue I have with it is that co-op, and even then it's only a small issue. It's not something that could be considered a game breaker. Now while I wouldn't say it sold me on the tower defense genre, the game itself stands up really well on its own. So even if you're not normally a fan of this style of game, I would suggest you try out the demo, because you might be pleasantly surprised. And I give Dungeon Defenders a score of 4.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching, see you next time.